business is your business. It's all up in my lady business with me, Mary Nisi. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in today. This is actually like my first, I think this is the first time I've ever had two people on the pod.
Ooh,
I think I've only had one person.
It's your first threesome.
It's my first threesome. We're a throuple. I don't know if you realize that was actually the point of me trying to get you on this podcast, was to try to make this happen.
I love it.
Is it going to happen? Is it going to happen?
Time will tell.
So I've got, exactly, I have the illustrious ladies that started the Pink Poster Club here in Evanston. I've got Savannah Fox and Emily Miller. Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
And thanks so much for coming on. So I've known these ladies for a little bit. They're kind of the gals about town in terms of the political action that's happening up here on the North Shore. But why don't you guys tell us a little bit about Pink Poster Club, how you guys met, and how we even got to this point right here. Emily, you go.
I'll tell you how we met. Our oldest daughters were going to the same preschool, Covenant Preschool. It's lovely on Golf Road. And there was a parent coffee play date, and Savannah and I both went, and we were both wearing proper pants, like stylish
Jeans.
pants, and we saw each other from across the playground, and we were like looking at each other, like scoping each other out, and that was it.
It was because you guys were
really
both wearing
history.
Was everybody else pantsless? Was everybody Porky Pigging it, and you guys are the only ones?
Yeah,
that would be really funny though. Honestly, no, just leggings. You know,
leggings.
A lot of leggings, which is fine.
Yeah.
Just like I think when I do this, you're immediately maybe attracted to somebody by like the way they look, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, you know what I mean? Emily's
it's the butt sniffing.
I am, you know what I mean? But like you see something and you're like, oh, I feel like there's a similarity. There's a commonality. And then you have to talk to them and realize like whether that's true or not. And that obviously happened to be true. And we're like very good friends now, which is lovely.
So you guys
but it was all because of hard pants.
Are you political? I'm also political. Let's make it happen.
That came a little bit later, right?
Well, I was running like a letter writing group for the midterm. So it was 2022. And I was getting people in the community to write letters to get out the vote, essentially, in swing states. And that we met like in August, maybe, and I invited Savannah during the fall. And I think then it came about that we were both into it.
And this is in 22. And so then how did the Pink Poster Club start?
Post-election, post second inauguration. And then like I think it was like a month in, right? Like February we met, and we had both been like super upset and sad. And then we met to specifically talk about what we could do. We had been like texting about it around like what like thinking of ideas, and we met one night to talk about some actions we could take. And we didn't know it was gonna be a Pink Poster Club. We just met and wanted to do something. And then we talked about using social media more publicly, and then also doing something in real life that people could grasp onto. And Emily had the idea of Elon Musk Tesla truck on fire, and we literally made it that night. Like we left, we were at Double Clutch hanging out. We went back to her house, and got on the laptop and made this like a website and a flyer, and we did it within like whatever, I don't know, 2 hours, a
couple hours,
and then history was made.
That's
my
awesome.
husband was like, what are you guys doing? And I was like, I'm buying. Can you give me your credit card so we can buy Squarespace? And he was like, oh my God.
And Ryan was like concerned. He was like, what are you guys naming this website?
Crazy.
Oh my God.
I mean, but that's how the best things happen, is like it's lightning in a bottle, and you just kind of get it together and realize that, especially when you like have the idea and it's one of the good things about tech is it has made it easier for us to like actually make things happen a little too fast. The fact that every man has a podcast is part of that problem. I say that I have a podcast. So basically it came together to make flyers and posters to put up around the area to kind of let people know they're not alone. Or what was the thrust of the organization?
For me at the beginning, it wasn't letting people know they're not alone. It was more like forcing people to face what was happening. Like, I think a lot of what we were feeling after the election and after the inauguration was people, and I felt this, were despondent, didn't know what to do, kind of hiding or not speaking up about what was happening because of the overwhelming barrage of what they were doing just coming at us all so fast. Felt like people were really walking around in a stupor. And when it came about that Elon Musk and his Doge team were stealing our social security numbers, stealing all our data, and then cutting aid and whatever they were doing. Remember, they were trying to get into the agencies.
Mhm.
People were barricading the doors. All this shit was
Yeah.
happening. And it felt like normal people were just kind of walking around. And I think for me, the posters were like trying to shake people awake, like force people to know what was happening and not be able to ignore it. Because if you're walking around and you see them, they're very visible and difficult to ignore. And that was my kind of, that was our idea, I think, at the beginning. Now it is a lot about like, community organizing, getting people involved and letting people know they're not alone. But at the beginning, I think it was more for awareness.
Yeah. I
To
say
me, I don't know.
I feel like after the election, a lot of people didn't want to realize how bad it actually was or was going to be. And the people that knew how bad it was and knew what was going on, that know a thing or two about policy or how things run, it's like, no, this is really bad. And I mean, a lot of people are just shoving their heads in the sand because it's like, well, I've got 4 more years of this, so I better not get too emotional because, and they can't do that. They can't do that. And I think Americans in general, we have taken for granted the gift we have of a democracy and that it actually is an experiment and that nothing like this had happened before and nothing like this has happened since. And like, we have to keep working on it. It's not a set it and forget it on the democracy front.
Yeah, 100%.
Emily, you kind of started the Instagram, the Emily Thinks Aloud
Yes.
Instagram. That is it's one of my favorite things I see every day on the internet was seeing
Thank
what
you,
you're talking
Mary.
about today.
That's so
Uh,
nice.
and it's fun. She just kind of are you just open up your phone and just riffing, or do you write those things out before you talk? I guess that's the secret, right?
No, I will tell you. I'm not, there's no secret. Most of them, the best ones, I literally just am thinking aloud. I'm like just in my kitchen after doing the dishes and I'm thinking about shit that I want to talk about. And I just go on there and talk about it. Sometimes it's not the first take. A lot of times it is. The more scripted ones, I think you can tell. I don't use a prompt or anything, but if some topics are important to me and I'm basing them off books or articles or more well thought out things, I'll write them down and read it a few times and then just go for it. And it's never the same. Obviously, I'm not reading it and there's no teleprompter, but it's more scripted in that sense. But most of the ones are really just me kind of fucking around. But I do read a lot and I do pay attention. So my thoughts are informed based on other writings, podcasts, the news, things like that.
When did you start doing those?
The same time we started Pink Poster Club, like Savannah and I talked about it a lot, the benefits and cons of having a public social media and being on social media so much. Um, and after Pink Poster Club, we both started our public accounts and that was it. So about like a year and a few months ago, and it's tied to Pink Poster Club, but it's different. I talk a lot about the same things we talk about on Pink Poster Club, but slightly different things, focused on a lot on motherhood
Mhm.
and the intersection of motherhood, culture, and politics, and how it impacts being a woman, being a mom, having a family. Uh, More so, I'd say.
Yeah, and Savannah Goes Politics is Savannah's version, like also the
Yeah,
pub.
yeah, but not like it's not a real thing. It's I use it, but if you look at my actual like dashboard, it's literally just all Pink Poster Club. So like everything on mine is just echoing Pink Poster Club. I think when we both met that night, we were like, oh, we'll start public accounts. Emily was obviously extremely successful, and I haven't like had I don't know, the energy to like keep it up so I basically just echo whatever we're putting up on Pink Poster Club. I like repost it. And then every once in a while, when I feel like I really want to say something, I'll like make a random video of myself speaking. But those are like pretty few and far between, like once every like 3 weeks or something.
It's like the
Like not,
difficult Yeah,
not
it's
a
the
real thing.
difficult thing with social media because I like as like last year started and I kind of I really kind of started seeing my relationship and my part in the machine that is the
Mhm.
politics and the capitalism and how do we get to this point and how do we fix it, especially as a mom. It's like the things that your kid is now, and my kid's 12, so he knows what's happening. Like it's hard. I'm
Yeah,
not hiding it from him. Like,
that would be such a hard age right now.
yeah, I mean, I feel like he was in kindergarten when COVID started, and I just feel like he just keeps getting hit after hit of like,
Yeah.
just nothing is normal. And I don't even know what normal is, like I don't know what I even want to have happen, like, and I don't know how to.
It's not this,
It's not this. I was gonna say it was funny because I was just talking about this with my daughter. We went camping this weekend, and we had like a nice conversation driving there, and Trump came up, and I told her, I said, when I was growing up, I didn't even think about the president. And like, if we thought about him, it was like a really nice thing. Like, here's our president. And this was a naive, privileged way to grow up, but still that is, I think, lost on pretty much everyone. Like the fact that he is so in your face, he's so divisive, he's so cruel, he's doing all these things that impact literally everyone in the country. And it didn't, you used to be able to, not think of the president as this looming thing in the country, as like just really like a public leader and a way healthier way to engage with politics.
But beyond that, I like didn't know how the House and the Senate. I didn't understand like how representatives worked. I didn't understand how a bill became a law, even though I saw the cartoon when I was a kid.
Schoolhouse Rock.
The Schoolhouse Rock and how a bill becomes a law. But it feels like I've had to like now we have to think about things that we never had to consider before, that we just sort of took for granted were kind of working and worked well. And now we have to fight for everything over and over and over again.
Yeah. I will say that I feel like there's like towing that line of, feel like we should have better knowledge of public policy and how it works and how it's built and how it's made. And I think that's like a fault that happens, like early on, that I don't know why. It's just not something we talk about enough. Maybe the generation that's coming out of like our age I think our kids will have a better idea of a lot of that stuff. Like even my kids, and they're like very young, are starting to understand very basics around like how these things are made and what it means to elect somebody. I will also say though, just to talk about Pink Poster Club here, is like one of the things we try to build in is you don't need to be like super informed. You don't need to have a certain level of education, because that doesn't even mean anything, right? Like a lot of people have like master's degrees, undergraduate degrees, and they still don't know how this stuff works, right? And so I think a lot of it, what we're trying to do is build like this feeling around building a community and creating this world that we believe in, that is about like love and respect and community, and that's not separate from politics. Those are the same. But I think if enough people get invested in their community, they show up more and they want, and then like kind of by osmosis, you start to learn like a little bit more about policy and how it impacts the things that you like love in your daily life, right? Like I think for so long we were able to just like idly stand by and go about things because we weren't directly impacted by the policy by whatever policies are coming down. And it's easy then to step away and just kind of continue your life. But I think now we're seeing the impact more directly. And I think it will wake people up. And more people are like, oh, I want to actually know how this works, because these things actually have an effect on my life and my children's life.
The right wing from whatever, I feel like Newt Gingrich and all of those, pieces of poop that were kind of laying the groundwork for where we're at right now. Their whole thing was government needs to be small. Government's stupid. It's a waste. Yeah. They're stealing. And so it's like they've been trying to unravel, and they've done a very good job of dismantling the entire safety net that we have. And Trump is like, I'm just going to break everything at the end. Like he's like, I'm invading Iran because nobody else would do it. It's like, well, the reason why they weren't going to do it is because of the Strait of Hormuz, which now Iran doesn't need to build a nuclear weapon. They have brought us to our knees. Like, I wish he would say, I don't need to have a weapon. I just have this.
Yeah. This war really proved to be what everyone probably thought it would be, which is like an epic disaster. And Trump just made them look like a much stronger country than they did before. So he successfully did that. I don't know. Like, I mean, it's the same thing with China. I'm like listening today about like the visit to China. This guy is just an epic idiot. And
he was being trolled to his face the whole time.
Yes, the whole time. It's truly amazing. Like, I loved hearing that like his visit wasn't even on like the front page of the newspaper, because they were like, we don't even care.
They don't care.
Like, you don't even matter,
Yeah. Yeah. I watch, so right now I'm rewatching the X-Files with my son. And I've
never seen that.
My God. It's, first of all, it's a great show.
You
just in
like
general,
it.
Great
scary,
show.
Emily. Is it scary?
But
it's scary.
What's funny though is the scary is like 1990s scary, and it was network television. So like when you can tell that someone's about to get killed, and it goes like the camera kind of goes whoop, 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 and then you see like feet going off camera. It's like it's not as scary as you think it would be. But what's interesting is, because it's a lot of people that have like, untold, abilities that aren't normal or whatever, a lot of the plot involves this person being from like a mental institution or some kind of like they're always
Okay.
in some state-run mental institutions, so many, and it's like, and they're really clean. No one's complaining about a lack of resources. He's getting his medication, and like, he'll have
Everything's
escaped.
working really well.
Yeah, it's like he'll have escaped the mental hospital, and they're like, no, we got to bring you in here you need to stay here for another 6 months on the taxpayer's dime, and we just, and it's like. It's more unbelievable from the resources that the government had and how competent the FDA, because they're FBI agents, and it's like, wow, the FBI seemed very competent back then, and like not like they're bad, and it's like it really like it takes me out of the show a lot because I'm like that can't happen now, that can't happen now, and that can't happen now.
We're not slinging like the whiskey bottles and stuff that are going around. Cash Patel has like random whiskey bottles that are like
his bespoke whiskey.
Separate, but like, you know what I mean? That's all I think about now.
Yeah, no, because it's hard. It's hard to see them as anything other than...
I only think about his eyes. Like, I don't know. It reminds me what you're saying about competency, though. Like, The Pit. Have you watched The Pit? I know Savannah hasn't, but there's all this online discourse about why people like The Pit so much is because the doctors in it are competent. Like, America is just yearning for someone who knows how to do their job and can do it without fucking it up and being totally idiotic. And then you watch the nurses and the doctors on The Pit and you're just like, oh my God, like people who are doing their job, who are smart and intelligent and taking care of things without all the hullabaloo. It's very interesting.
I think competency porn, I think is what they refer to it as.
Yes, exactly.
And it's hard because especially right now with my son being the age that he is, your kids are little, right? They're like under 10.
Yeah. I have a 7 and a 4-year-old.
Yeah, that's little guys. And so I'm thinking a lot about the future, and I'm like, college, et cetera. And it's like, I think to myself, like, what would he even go to school for at this point? Like, what's still going to be there? And I keep coming back to plumber. I keep coming back to electrician.
That's a good one. That is a good one. Yeah.
I
think it will be a lot of the trades. Like, honestly, trades are smart. I don't know. I had this weird night. I was telling my husband about this the other day. I woke up in the middle of the night at like 3 a.m. I can't remember if I told you about this, Emily, but I was like, woke up like in a panic, just being like, what is the point of like doing like anything? Like, why am I like spending all this time making sure that like my kids are like good and thoughtful and kind people? I'm going to get dark for a second. When like the world's probably like ending because we are not taking care of our climate. We don't care about our earth. I must have had some like terrible dream. I don't know where it came from, but I was like really spiraling. And then I don't have an end to the story. I have no segue in or out of it. I just am like, it makes me think about it. I just was really like, I don't know. I had this like moment because I think that sometimes people think that Emily and I are like, I don't know, like sure of everything or like always positive or always like, if we just meet, everything's going to be fine. And I mostly do, honestly, I do feel like that is like the answer is to like meet and build community and be together. But I did really have this moment where I was like in a full panic at 3 a.m, just like, what is the point if we can't get our shit together and like take care of the one earth that we know we have? I don't know. It was a really like, and I'm still there. It's still sitting with me clearly. It's just like days ago. And I just keep, I got nothing positive to say.
I saw a meme from some woman who is she was like, I'm worried about the climate. And so I went to school for environmental biology. And while I was there, I found out that we actually do know how to solve the climate crisis. We know exactly what to do, but we just can't get anybody to agree to do it. So she's like, then I went and got my master's in public policy because I figured that might be the way to solve it. And then I got in there like once again, like we all know exactly what to do it, but we just can't get anybody to do it. And meanwhile, China's putting down, all green, they're doing all their infrastructure and they're moving to wind and solar, and they've moved like everything to wind and solar. And meanwhile, we spent $8 billion on the war on terror, and, they have buses and bridges that go everywhere. And we've got airlines that are tanking because the gas is too high. And so to your question about the future, I mean, I don't think we're capable of ruining the world. We keep it's egotistical to think that we're going to be the ones who like finally end it. I mean, in some ways, like it's kind of like when COVID happened and they stopped putting boats in the Hudson and dolphins came back. Like the second that we start changing things, nature wants to be good. It wants to work. Like karma's real. Like there's always a cycle that ends, and we do this every 100 years. We're just doing it now with way too much technology.
Yeah. And I think the thing that is interesting, because even I think one of the issues where we're at with the climate problem, and not to we can change this topic in a minute, but is that even when you were just talking about this, I always blame it on people's inability to picture the future and to picture that it feels too far away. So they can't tackle this issue now because it's this obscure thing that you can't really, you're no, I'm looking around and everything seems okay. And I can't picture this world. And so there's inaction because of that. But then I think about even when you were just talking, Mary, I'm thinking about the ability for the Republicans to envision this world of racism and sexism and literally building Project 2025 from decades ago, building this idea, working towards these goals. And I just think, I'm wait, why are we, I don't know. It's very interesting because I do think there's this inability to act because of this. It doesn't feel tangible, but then I'm can we just get better at it? Can we do a better job of envisioning this and working towards a goal where we're wait, we want to see these things and to put them out there. I mean, I think people are doing it, but
it's hard though when you've got a really loud minority screaming all the time and it sounds right, we're all conditioned. We can all be conditioned to do anything. We've all been conditioned to be okay with everything that's happened since COVID. I mean, everything that we've, the convenience, the ordering food apps and never having to talk to another person if you don't want to. They want to keep us all here on the app so that we don't come in, because when we're away, when we meet other people, we actually go, oh, wait, you're not as bad as I thought you were.
Yeah, it's true.
And the community part of it truly is just being in person together. I mean,
yes,
it's great that we have the internet for people we're still on it. We're still addicted to it. We're still going to look at it. But having these, these pink flashes that come in and showing you there's another option. You don't have to just have despair because life is long. Am I really going to spend the next 40 years just being miserable because they can't pass legislation that's going to give me maybe my right to my reproductive rights back? I don't want that. And I think about the there's always a tipping point when you look at even in the history of the US, it's Heather Cox Richardson had this one post where it was talking about how 5 years before we started the American Revolution, we were in the war, the French and Indian War, and England came to our side and they really helped us, and we were yay, we love England, they're the coolest, they helped us out in this war. And then they started taxing us without representation. And then 5 years later, we're separating from them. So it was it didn't take long for us to and then 3 years before the Civil War, they had all these, they were getting Northerners to be maybe we should go back to slavery. Maybe we should accept it for the whole country. 3 years before the Civil War. And then 3 years later, the war starts, and 4 years later, it's, slavery is illegal. So I think we are in the tipping point right now.
Yeah.
And I think there's enough young people that actually care about, I mean, everybody cares about this, but I think young people our kids and the next, they all have been steeped in this the whole time. They know how fucked the climate is. They know how fucked Trump is. And that's why they're so afraid of us voting, which is why they are trying to dismantle the voting and making it so we can't vote and making it seem like voting's for losers.
Isn't it insane? It's their card. It's so clear what they're doing. I think about this all the time. It's you're so scared that you're cheating. If you think you're on the right side and you think you're really people really support you, guess what? You don't fucking cheat. You don't put rules in place where the cards are stacked in your favor or whatever the sayings go. I don't know. But it's just I think about it all the time. It's so, every time they make these policy changes or gerrymander or whatever they're doing, it is so blunt and obvious and in your face that they are terrified and they know they're losing. They know that they don't actually have favor, because if they did, they would be we don't need to do anything because everyone loves us and we don't have to do anything because everyone will vote for us. And they're not doing that.
I think the difficulty in dealing with them is that with the Republicans is that they've posited their whole Project 2025 and the policies they're enacting now and this latest onslaught against the Civil Rights Act. They don't care about hypocrisy. They don't care about the rules. They think that what the means justify the ends, no matter what those means are. They are on a religious crusade. So when I see them and look at what they're doing, it's so frustrating because I know they'll do whatever it takes. Like they will cheat, they will lie, they're
Mm-hmm.
so corrupt. And in their mind, it's all okay. It's like an in
Mm-hmm.
crowd versus out crowd. Like they're on the in crowd, it's very small. And whatever the in crowd does is 100% acceptable. Whatever the out crowd does, even if it's the same or better, it's unacceptable. And that's very difficult to work within as like an opposition or as a community organizing group or even as swaying public opinion. It's very difficult to operate under a system where one crowd is always right and everyone else is always wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And one crowd can receive no criticism and the other crowd gets all the criticism. It's very like, it's kind of an impossible situation as the opposition. And I think we don't do a good job of naming that. Like we
No.
really are. We always try to couch everything in the structures that have been working in the past.
Yeah.
And the Republican Party has been hell-bent on doing this for decades. And the structures
Mm-hmm.
clearly they don't give a shit about. And I think we need to do better at breaking out of those,
Yeah.
doing something different.
It was all based on decorum. We literally were like,
Yes.
oh, we have a great, strong democracy. But it was literally like, now we see
Norms.
it was literally
like
just
social
based
norms,
on
yeah.
norms. Yeah,
It was
norms,
or
decorum,
just
like
I promise
assuming that
I'll
people
do
are going to
it.
do the right thing. Yes, exactly. And now you're like, oh no, like those things actually don't hold any real weight because you're just going against them and no one's stopping you.
It'd be one thing if what they were doing had strategy behind it and they were actually doing it in a way that could make it so it could last forever. But the way that they're implementing all of this, it's going to get wiped out as quickly as it can because there's no roots to it. There's no real thought behind. I mean, other than like Project 2025, obviously there are.
Yeah.
I mean, there are roots in that way, but their roots were not within the party. They were within like think tanks and Rand groups or whatever. But the end goal, is it just money? Is that really all it is? Like,
I mean, no, I don't think. I think for some of them, yeah. I think for a lot of them, yes. I think for the corporations that are backing and like enabling this administration to continue, yes. And then I think there's also like the like diehard, like Russell Vout, however you say his last name, I think is like he thinks he's on a religious crusade.
Yeah, I
But
think
do you
it's
think
deeper than money. I think it's really upholding white supremacy. Like I think it's clear.
But I think a lot of that's for money, right? It's like fear that somebody's taking
But I
things from
think you could get all the money without doing what they're doing. Like you could be so corrupt and get billions. I think it is ideological.
But do you think they're actually religious, or do you think they're using religion as an excuse for the behavior?
I think it's probably both a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, some of them are clearly religious nuts, some of the people they're listening to.
But they're not doing the religion. They're not doing Jesus. Like if they were doing Jesus, then a lot of this stuff wouldn't be happening.
But isn't that always the question, right? Like who is interpreting the Bible correctly? And people interpret it to suit what they want to do. And these people think they're doing Jesus very well. Like they are convinced that their interpretation of this Bible is doing Jesus, and Jesus wants the death penalty, and Jesus, whatever, doesn't like women and hates abortion and hates poor people. Their Jesus is crazy, but they think it's theirs. Like they think that's who he is.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very innocent, it's a very convenient.
Yeah. I mean, I think in general, I would say like my general take on religion in general is like that most people, it's used as a way to control the masses and also to like uphold the power at the very top of whatever that is. And so I think that people, like Emily is saying, is conveniently use religion and they mold it to whatever their personal aim is. And I do think a lot of that is about like maintaining class status and by maintaining, I don't mean maintaining it as to where it is now. I mean like going back in time, apparently. And I think it's changed through where you look at different like countries and whatever the aim is, but like it's always been used as a power wielding force and to control people, in my opinion. So I do think a lot of it's about the money and that.
I mean, religion, I feel like we didn't know why things were happening. So religion gave us a nice answer for where we came from. And then we can also use it, to like keep people from killing each other. It was really like a government. It was almost like just like like a way to live. And then it got a really good marketing department with churches or whatever. And, then it turned into, and as we learned more and understood the world more, instead of going like, okay, that religion was wrong, we can actually eat pork now. Like they still, like pigs would be dirty animals that would, they would spoil quickly, so that's like where that comes from, like.
Yeah, is that true? I don't even know.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if you look at, I think it's a Deuteronomy. It's like the one that has all the rules in it. Like that book is all just, it was all just rabbinical code that was like to keep the Jews alive. Like it was, things to keep it, keep people from like marrying their sister or fucking their cousin or whatever. Like it was, it was useful back then.
Yeah. This is what cracks me up about religion. I remember this was like when I was living in Texas. And I remember I think I was pregnant with my first child. And I remember somebody being like, "Are you going to send him to Sunday school?" And I was like, "No, like I'm not a religious
They
person
asked
at all.
you.
I'm an atheist, like absolutely not." And they're like, "But how will your kids learn about like morality?" And I was like, "I don't understand." Like it was like honestly a really baffling experience for me to realize that there are people who like, and this was not like a crazy person. Like they were like somebody who I was friendly with, I would say. And I was really stunned by that. And it made me just realize what a probably very large percentage of the population thinks that way. Like thinks that that the teaching within the Bible or Sunday school, I've never been to the Sunday school, so I don't know what it would be like, but like that's where you learn these things. And I'm like, or I'm just a good, normal person who can like teach morality and ethics to my children in my everyday life. And I think I successfully do that. But it is like really ingrained in us. And I think that was a really eye-opening experience for me because I grew up here in Evanston, lived in New York for a long time. And then in Texas, I think I was in Austin, but I was exposed to a lot of religious people in a way that I just had never been. And it was just, I don't know. I was shocked by that.
The hard thing about religion, I'm not religious. I was raised Catholic and I went to Catholic school, but I'm not practicing any longer. I pray sometimes, but
for specific things to happen.
Yeah.
It's meditating, manifesting.
Only to Virgin Mary, my mother. I think the hard thing about religion, and from what I'm noticing and reading and knowing religious people, is there is nothing quite like it for people. And so they do use it for rules and they use it for morality. But I think a lot of it is it offers you rituals, right? Like it offers you, now you're getting older. We did first communion, we did confirmation, you can get wet there. It offers you rituals to mark your life. It offers you witnesses to see your life within those rituals. You have a built-in community. You have built-in people who know you. And I don't think religion is the answer, but I do think humans as social beings need those things. And we haven't been able to get our act together enough to replace it. And until there's like a viable replacement where people feel like that their life is being seen and that it's moving along and that people are witnessing that and that they're part of something bigger than themselves, I think people are just going to keep going back to it. And like you said, Mary, and like you said, Savannah, for better or for worse, mostly for worse. Like as we've seen throughout history, it's like used to control people and to keep certain power structures upheld. But we don't have an alternative. And that's what is really interesting to me about the religious discussion. It's like, how do you craft that for yourself? It's much easier to go to church, right? Like it's so much easier to go to church than to craft your own rituals, find your own community, be part of your neighborhood, do all these things that require a lot of effort that's built in a way that we don't have in the United States. And I think in a lot of other places too.
I mean, it's an interesting thought. I just thought just now is like, America has in general been moving away from the church, and there's like less people going to church now than there ever has been. And one of the things that went with it is like the third space. Like, church is a place where you don't have to spend money to walk into. There's, they're supposed to clothe you. They're supposed to help you. They're supposed to, you've got a therapist in confession. You've got, they've got all these ways to create that place. And, we've all, a lot of people, I mean, I was also raised Catholic. I think I'd burst into flames if I walked into a church now, but
the Pope is kind of woke. I don't know.
Love him.
Yeah,
I think he's great. He's great. Even the last one was real good.
You might be okay. Yeah, I loved Pope Francis.
But it's the lack of a third space. It's a lack of a place where we can all just like, especially when you get older, you're not going to bars anymore, or you're not going to the coffee shop, or you don't have college where you guys have to get together and have a study group. Like especially, and if you move away from where you were for college, like I went to college in Chicago and this never left. And so I have so many friends in Chicago. Like I can go anywhere and run into someone I know because I lived there for 28 years. Being up here, it's really weird. Being up here for like, almost 4 years. And it's like, I have to make new friends as an adult. And it feels so weird. It's like,
it's hard.
Will you hang out with me?
Yeah.
I mean, the Pink Poster Club does, I'm not going to lie, gives me some people I get to hang out with. And, and I know that they're like-minded. And that's the thing. There needs to be more Pink Poster Clubs and places to meet. Because I think people think the online community is the same, and it just isn't.
No, it's not the same.
No, it's not.
I really was thinking though, like in this conversation, I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I'm like joking kind of, obviously, because we're tiny, but like Pink Post, like this is what Emily and I keep saying things like, it would be so great for there to be more. We don't mean like Pink Poster Club necessarily, but like Pink Poster Club or other things like it, because we kind of do offer that. Like we have like right now, now that it's nice out, we have a monthly park hangout. You literally just come and you show up and you don't have to do anything. Like you just come. And that's like a space. I mean, we don't have a therapist, but like we do talk to, I mean, I don't
I
know.
could get
People
one
honestly
maybe.
do talk to us a lot about
They talk.
their fears and
Yes, they
anxieties, and
talk
we
a
listen,
lot.
and we're not therapists, to be clear. No.
Not like
But
this.
I know some of those things are at a bar, but like a lot of it is really low threshold to enter, and like a lot of it is almost everything is free or donation based. Like we don't have like this monetary barrier most of the time. I feel like we're pretty conscious of that. So I don't know. I just feel like I do hope, I wish that people would fill that space, because I do think you're right. You guys are both right. Like there is this idea of community, and people are like, where else do I seek this community out? And to me, it always felt easy because I just didn't grow up in that environment. Like church was never a part of my life. I never sought community there. I never missed it because I never had it. And so I always, like, from moving different places, always sought that out myself. But like, I understand that would be a scary thing for people if there's not like a space that feels like an open, inviting.
Well, I remember there was a book that was really popular when I was in college that I read. It actually came out after I was in college. It was called Bowling Alone. Have you guys heard about this book?
Yes.
And but the thrust of it is basically that people have stopped having bowling leagues, and they've been becoming increasingly isolated. And, they're not having Tupperware parties, and they're not having, socials after church or whatever. And people are just increasingly becoming isolated. And the more isolated we get, the less fabric in the community. And this book came out in like 2001 or something. Like this has been something that people have been sort of talking about, is like, all of this isolation and is not good for us as a country. And we don't have like the town square where everybody just kind of goes and hangs out.
The first thing that came to mind is that and I talk a lot about this on social media too, is with bowling alone and phones and not going back to the office and being isolated, is like people think being online is the same as doing something in real life. And it's not. Like, it's just not. It cannot be a replacement for friction in your life, for talking to the cashier, for meeting your friends at the park. Like, it cannot replace actual living. It has to, how I try to think about it is like, use a tool to live better, like use it to find events, to meet people who then you can go out in real life and hang out with them. Like advocate for things you want, but we're using it so much as a replacement, and the negative effects of that are so clear, that people are so lonely. It's so addictive. And what the Republicans are offering is like more comfortable because it doesn't require any faith. Like going back to what Savannah's talking about, like envisioning something requires that you'd have faith that the world isn't inevitable, like that the world that they're portraying for you is not inevitable. And that is a lot harder of a thought and emotion to hold than like anger and rage, which the phone aids you in. But like you said, as soon as you go outside and you meet other people and you have these different social interactions that are not even with your friends, it's so clear that the world doesn't have to be like what they're giving you. And I think about it all of those things like conflating into where we are right now, and what do we do with it? I don't know. Community, Pink Poster Club.
Yeah, I do.
More
I
Pink
really
Poster
think
clubs.
the answer is just community. And I feel like like what Emily was saying, we really try to use our social media is like really about putting out events, like being like, come meet us here. Some of it is just like, I don't know, like informational a little bit, but like almost all of our posts, I feel like, are about coming to meet us in person, getting out there in person. And like, I think Emily, you've talked about this on your personal account, but like facing that fear and doing it anyway. Like I know you've talked about this, right? A lot, like where it's like, and I think it's such an important thing to talk about, and for everyone to acknowledge who's doing something in community. Like Emily and I've talked about this. Like, we don't go to our events and don't feel scared. Like, we go and we're like, oh God, no one's gonna be here. I'm gonna be alone. It's gonna be so awkward.
I always get so nervous.
And then we do it anyway. And I think there was like a specific post that Emily did on this that was really great, where she talked about doing that anyway. Like, it's not that the people you see out in community who are out speaking, who are out organizing they're not like, they are not scared. They're there and they're scared and they're facing that and they're doing it anyway. And I think that is something that I think social media has really taken that muscle away from us, is like being able to show up and be like, it's uncomfortable and that's okay. I was talking about my daughter recently. We're like defining the difference between being scared and being nervous. So I should say nervous. Like I'm not scared when I go to our events. I'm very nervous. Like I'm sweating. Like I'm like my heart's racing a little bit. It depends on what it is, obviously. But like I sometimes I get very nervous. But that's not nervous. Usually means like you still want to do it, but like you don't know what's going to happen. And whereas scared is like your body's like, this is actually like something bad might happen. You know what I mean? So I think it's a really interesting thing that we should talk about more. And that when you see people, like for whoever might be listening to this, if you see people out, we're not scared or nervous. We're like just doing it because we think it's important. And I think the more that our kids, I think about this too, and not that everyone's like has children, but the more that my kids see me doing these things and like showing up and being able to talk to different people and being able to be in situations that are a little uncomfortable, like the better I think they'll be able to do those things too. And like, I hope that we're raising this generation of people who won't hopefully be like on their phones all the time. Because that's so fucking depressing. Like I see teenagers out at like parks and they're on their phones, like all in a group on their phones. And I'm like, when I was a teenager, we were like fucking around. We were running around. We were being crazy. We were having a blast. We were making out. Like I want to see more teenagers making out at parks. You know what I mean? Not in a creepy way, but like just like being fun, like having fun, like
taking risks.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like just getting in trouble. You know, like getting in trouble as much as
like
getting in trouble.
Yes, and like the good trouble. Yeah,
but like, you know, I get in trouble for
trouble.
Whatever. You know, like running around and not coming home late, or you know, drinking underage, which you know happened. You know, and like you get in trouble, and it's like you learn that you can make mistakes, and then you get to still be in the world. And I think, you know, we're losing a lot of that muscle to like, you know, make that happen.
I also, this is reminding me, I also think like what social media does negatively is like I feel like people, because they're online so much and they're witnessing reels and everything is like whatever, an ad, an influence of this or that, like nothing is quite real. People like don't know how to be like see humans anymore. Like people complain about like babies crying on the plane. They complain about teenagers being rowdy in the city. They complain about kids ding dong ditching. It's like we've lost the plot, guys. Like we've lost the plot. Do you know what I mean? Like babies can cry on the plane. You want to see teenagers out, not doing anything dangerous, but like it's normal teenage behavior to like hop a fence, skateboard on the rail you're not supposed to, smoke a cigarette, have like that's fine. We don't have any space for each other anymore in a way I think we used to. It feels very like everything is tenuous and critical of each other.
It's very black and white. It's very black and white. Like, oh, I saw this teenager carousing. He was riding a bike without a helmet, smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, and it's like, then you post about it. Why are you posting about it? It's so bizarre, you know, like Nextdoor. Sorry, I'm just going on a rant. Are you guys on Nextdoor?
I had to get off.
It is literally the worst social media platform that exists because people literally like will post images of children like ding dong ditching them through their Ring camera, being like, does anyone know who this child is? They just ding dong ditched me. And I'm like, can someone find their teacher and tell their parent? And it's like, no, you're nuts. Why are you posting a photo of a kid who was just having fun ding dong ditching you? Like, no, I'm not going to find this child and get their teacher. What's the repercussion? Like,
so insane.
So it just people have like.
John and I were properly shamed on a Facebook group that we were on when we lived in the city. It was called Logan Square Parents to Unite, and it was supposed to be like the cool parents web, like the not crazy ones. My husband
I'm so excited to hear this.
So John would take Sebastian to this park that we had to cross. You had to cross Fullerton to get to. Like it was a busy street.
Yeah.
So he would take Sebastian in the stroller, like way past Sebastian being in stroller age, but it just got him there faster and like whatever. And John at the time was going through this phase where he was learning how to tie knots. And so we always had a rope with him. And he was always like, hey, Mary, this is a fisherman's knot. You know, if you ever needed to tie a wheel to something, this is the knot you would use for that. Like he really got into knots. So he's coming back from the park, and he's got a rope wrapped around it that he was doing knots with. And Sebastian stood up, Sebastian was in the stroller, and he kind of stood up and the stroller fell backwards. He was like 5 at the time. So he was like a robust child, like can handle
That just
that.
happened to my 2.5-year-old.
It's happened. What stroller hasn't fallen over, guys?
Exactly. And so John picks it up and keeps walking. She posts a picture of Sebastian falling and on Logan Square Parents Unite and was like,
what?
I feel very bad for this man's wife, was how she put it. I'm like, that's your problem?
Wait, what?
That's what I mean. Like, people are
crazy.
insane. Like, you can't be posting shit
crazy.
like that. Like, we have to bring back some, like,
yeah. Well, what's funny is I started getting all these screenshots of it, like texted to me, like, Mary,
that's insane.
I think this is John on Facebook, and it was yeah. And it was like, he's so dangerous. And, I can't believe, I just worry about this child. I worry about them.
Oh my God.
And, I just hope that his wife will forgive him. And I just hope she doesn't know that these things are happening. And it's like,
what the fuck?
It was the most, and it's like, if you were actually concerned, you would have run across the street and taken my son away from my husband.
100%. You wouldn't just be taking a random picture and then posting it.
Like, you just did that to like shame us. And so I posted a really mean response in the comments, and I made some friends from it.
I'm very happy you did that.
And I repost it every year. It comes up, in my memories, and I repost it every year. So
I love it. You're just like,
it's your most memorable Facebook story.
That's really funny.
Well, it's like, if you're
it's ridiculous. But Emily, you mentioned the like negative thing. Or I don't know, you said something about like how easy it is to talk about the negative or like not talk about something that's you're excited about, or like this person, whoever like basically put this picture up for no reason, talking shit for no reason. Like, that's so easy to do. That's so much. That's so easy, instead of being like, wait, let me actually think about like the joy that I have in my life, or like the positive thing that I saw. Like, I saw this person pick up his kid off the stroller.
There were some people in the comments
like it's such a crazy, like, why do we go towards the negative? And I do think that is like a real negative in social media. And Emily, you already said this, but like that it makes it really easy to like focus on the bad and to be able to be like really mean in that space in a way that we just like wouldn't in real life. And then to a face and like
face, you would never.
And then I think it's also just teaching us to like be that like critical in that kind of way all the time, instead of being like, oh no, actually, like these are normal things, and this is nice. Actually, it's nice that these kids are playing.
For the most part, the comments were very positive in the shaming post, and there were like 3 guys that were like, maybe if my dad would have played with me like that, I wouldn't be in therapy now. And it's like, yeah, exactly.
Maybe that's
exactly. That's good. I like that.
Might be true.
So like with the Pink Poster Club, like what if you had like what's like your biggest dream for it, or dream for this year? Like, what would you like? What would be because I don't even like, I don't know what you would call, you a political action committee? Like, what would you refer to it as?
No, we're not a political action committee.
We say we're like a grassroots. There we go.
Yeah, we say we're like a grassroots, like community organizing group, basically. And we use like art and community building to create this space that feels like a safe space to get involved in advocacy. I don't know what my biggest goal or like what my like want is for I think what I really just want, honestly, is for people to show up and to be involved. And I really hope that we have we want to do a lot in the midterms, and we don't know exactly what that will be yet, but like I have, goals around that, I guess.
Yeah, I just want to keep going.
Yeah.
And see what happens. That's my goal. Is to not quit.
There's probably people that don't live around here that can't attend, but like maybe, oh my gosh, what if you started different like Pink Poster Clubs in different towns? And you were like,
we've talked about that.
Yeah, we talk about that. Yeah.
We need to define it a little bit, or like get it on our website. But we have like we have like a community ally, right? That's what we're calling it, community ally. And then we also are very open to somebody else doing like a Pink Poster Club chapter. So if people want to do that, they can reach out to us, and we would share a lot of our like information, branding, stuff like that, I think, right? For people to do that, because it's just I think it's honestly a very easy thing to replicate. Like it's just like finding a couple people who will join you.
Easy.
It's very easy, and you just show up and you're vulnerable. That's the hard part. You have to be vulnerable, and that's the hard part, and then it gets easier.
What Savannah said about being vulnerable, and I think about this a lot, is like we went postering last week, And I didn't really want to go on the way. I was kind of like, does this even do anything? But I think we need to like move away from worrying about the outcome and like do things because you want to do them and do them for the process and do them to build community and sustain yourself and be vulnerable and keep showing up and be human. And I kind of wish more people would just like start doing shit. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, just like whatever you think, whatever you want to do, like, it doesn't have to make money. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to like hit all the right notes and whatever, be messaged and styled and like, we just need more people doing things.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Pink Plus Club makes no money, to be clear. We make no money. We don't have anything. We just put our own money into shit. Yeah.
Well, and I mean, I have fallen into the same trap of like feeling this need to have to monetize every hobby that I have.
Yeah,
And,
like,
like, or if I'm not making money at all times, am I even a person? Am I even a human if I'm not always
yeah,
making money? And I never, ever, ever used to feel that way. And it just feels like in the last like 5 years, I'm afraid of money all the time.
yeah,
I hate that feeling. And I never used to feel that way. And nothing's changed in my financial situation that's made it so that I'm, you know, more vulnerable to getting evicted or whatever. And if I'm having that anxiety, most people probably are also having that anxiety, and it makes it hard to do stuff.
yes,
It's like, oh, I could learn how to knit, but that's going to take a lot of time and I don't have money for the yarn. And so I'm just going to sit here and watch CSI Miami. And
Yeah.
yeah,
it's like, and I think that, or I'm going to sit here and bed rot. This is also a thing I have a hard time with, or like people who are like, like I cancel plans. It's not that I do it. It's more just the publicizing of it. Like it's like a
Yeah.
flex in
Oh, yeah.
memes. And
yes,
like,
I
because
don't know about this.
if you're not bed rotting, if you are bed rotting, rather, if you're bed rotting, if you're like staying home because you're canceled the fun thing you were doing with your friend, what are you going to do? You're probably on Instagram. You are
yes.
probably,
Well, you're
it's,
posting about it, so it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I didn't
So
know this was a
it's,
thing, guys. I'm lost, but I love
and
that.
no,
I don't love this. I hate it.
now you
It's terrible.
know. Now you
Now
know,
I know.
Savannah.
but
Now
it's just,
yeah.
it's a thing to keep us in the matrix, in the similar.
I do think that's what I was kind of gonna. I was like, I feel like it's all sort of. It's not like as sinister as I'm making it sound, but like I do think it's all kind of part of the system of like when we are focused on how to constantly make money, we're not actually like enjoying a lot of our life. And and I think we see this with the corporations, there's never enough. Everyone always wants more. Like there's not like Jeff Bezos, there's no point in which he's like, my company is clearly making enough money. I
Yeah,
am
like
like
insane.
the richest person ever, Elon Musk, whatever, whoever's richer, I don't know. But like there's no point in which you're going to make enough to be satisfied. So at a certain point, money is a real concern, obviously, but I don't think that like trying to make a hobby into a money making machine, I think is like this like a false it's not gonna work because you're gonna start hating your hobby. Like
Yes.
I remember listening to this, like I don't know, some podcast, and I was on a road, I think we were driving to Austin, and I was listening to something and it really like struck with me where this person was saying how there are these people through, I think it was like Hidden Brain or something, who have these hobbies, things that they love, they're really good at, and then they started to get paid for it, and how their value in that thing diminished like significantly the moment they started getting paid for it. And I really like there people have said things like, well, what if Pink Poster Club did this or that, or like you guys became a nonprofit? And I'm not saying that will never happen. I'm not like locking us in a box, but I do fear that if we did that and if we ever started to make money off of it, like I think some of the joy that I have out of it it wouldn't be the same. I don't know. I could be
It
wrong,
turned
but I
being a
think about that.
DJ into a business that yes, I relate. I ruined my love of DJing by starting a DJing company.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, not
yeah.
really, but kind of. I mean, for years, I thought I hated DJing. And now that I've stepped away from the company and I'm doing Hot Flash Dance, now I kind of care about it again. But it is a motherfucker,
I think we just all think we're supposed to like love our job. And to me, I'm like, oh wait, no, I actually just there's things that I like about my work for sure. I do like my work in a lot of ways, but like, it's not what I live for. My work allows me to have enough money to like sustain my life and to do the things in my life that are really meaningful to me, which
That's what it's
means
supposed
like
to do.
spending time with my family, reading books, spending time with my friends, biking around. Like those are the things that I think we have in America. This is a specific like American thing where we're like, what do you do? And like, does that thing give you fulfillment? I'm like, I get fulfillment from my life with my family and my friends, and like Pink Poster Club. Honestly, like those are. I think we have this weird idea around like having to make money off of your thing that you love, and I think it ends up kind of ruining it.
So first of all, I don't think being rich seems cool. I've never seen a really rich person who seemed happy. And if at what point is there enough money? Like, I don't understand how you could possibly want more money that just is also only on paper. Like, really go liquidate, show me $3 billion in cash. But
can you even imagine? I don't even know what that was like.
No, and they couldn't do it because their money's not real.
You literally
it's not
can't
real
imagine
money.
it.
No, you
so
can't imagine
much.
it.
You
I can't imagine
cannot
it.
even imagine it because it's like literally so much fucking money.
There is a difference, I think, between commerce and capitalism. And I think that we all should love our jobs, actually, because we're doing something that provides something of service to the community. And so, like we need someone to be the baker, and we need someone to make the food and grow the food. And we have like all these people that used to fill these roles. And then when we started, sending all of these jobs overseas, or they became jobs that only an underpaid, immigrant class, that the only reason why we're able to have, these sort of things is because we're now underpaying, immigrants that we're not anymore. I'm not sure how that's going to go. But my point is that I wish we could get away from how hardcore we have to be capitalist, and we have to make more money. Like,
yes, I'm exhausted of it. It's exhausting.
I just want to have commerce. I like to barter.
Yeah.
I will do anything for DJ
You
services.
want a barter system. Yeah.
Barter being part of it, and it not being like the reason why sex work is illegal is not for moral purposes. It's because they can't tax it. If they could find a way to tax women's vaginas any more than they already do.
My God.
They'd be doing it.
Then we would have, more, you would have, sex work that was legal.
They would be all about that.
This was really fun.
I loved it. This was very fun.
Thank you. That was very fun.
So pinkposterclub.com?
Yes.
Is that right? Yes.
Okay.
Pinkposterclub.com. And then our Instagram, pink.posterclub.
And then their personal Instagrams are also like must follows. Emily Thinks Aloud, right? And Savannah Goes Politics. We'll put them in the show notes. Show notes.
Lovely.
Oh, I also wanted to say, I also really love your roundup of good things on Fridays. Like
do
it.
Great.
They do it. You guys do a post. They do a post every Friday of like actual good things that happen in the world. And I swear to God, I look forward to it every week because it's like usually it's stuff that I didn't know. And it's usually like, hey, in Idaho, they actually passed, they're going to take up pesticides out of farming or whatever. And it's like, good. Okay. It's not all just a piece of fire.
Yeah, that's thanks to Danny, and she makes that, and it's great. And I also literally look forward to it every Friday. It's like because every week's a fucking dumpster fire, and then that we have like it is something to look forward to. And if you follow us for anything, that's a good one.
Yeah, true.
Well, thanks guys for coming on, and maybe I'll have you back sometime. We can have another weird conversation.
Fun. I'll watch the X-Files.
I won't go dark, I swear. I got a little dark this time.
Or maybe when you guys go public, with Pink Poster Club, I can ring the bell at the
There we go.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine?
I was like, go public. We are public. What are you talking about?
No.
Like, how much more public can we get?
IPO, baby.
Trading.
Oh my God.
How much would our shares be worth,
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Mary, you can ring the bell if that happens.
I'm ringing the bell. All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
Bye,
See you
guys.
next week. Bye. Thanks for listening to All Up in My Lady Business with me, Mary Nisi. We'd love for you to like, review, subscribe, follow us at All Up in My Lady Business on the gram. And if you're a female identifying person and you want to dance, you can follow. Everybody can follow it. But if you want to be a part of the magic at Hot Flash Dance Party, sign up for the mailing list to find out where our next party is going to be. And if you are looking for a DJ in the Chicagoland area or anywhere else, money's the same color everywhere. Fly us out. ToastandJamDJs.com has the best. And listen to my radio show. I have a radio show on Chirp Radio at chirpradio.org. That's Mondays. Every Monday from 12 until 3 p.m. CST. Today's episode is produced by Shiraz Dada. Theme song composed and performed by, you guessed it, Shiraz Dada. All right, guys. Peace out.